Hi Flosstube, it's Lori McCleary, Texstylust. Welcome to my channel. Hi Flosstubies, it's Lori. Welcome to my channel. Welcome back if you are a current subscriber, and welcome to you if you are new. This channel is primarily about cross stitch and quilting. Sometimes I throw in some wool applique or other things. So it's been about a month since my last video, but as I mentioned, then I had a lot of things coming up. I had a trip out of state to go visit my girls, my daughter and my granddaughter, and I also had a visit with my friend Barb, who also lives in Arizona, and we did a quilting shop hop, so that was a lot of fun. I have a lot of haul to share. And I also have a couple of really big finishes that I'm going to share. I did get some stitching done. One of the big finishes did take up a lot of time before I left on my trip. If you've been watching, you know which one that is, and I will be sharing pictures of that. And so, but I did have a cross stitch finish. I have been stitching on a couple of other things. I have a new start for my birthday. And and I also had the day after I came back, I left to do a quilting, they call it Quilt Camp, and for my local guild that I belong to, the Mount Bachelor Quilt Guild in Bend, Oregon. And so I did a lot of sewing there. I'll share some of my progress on that. And I'm also going to talk about a little bit about plans, things that I know that are coming up that I'm going to be working on. I have some frames for a couple of finished pieces that I'm going to share. So let's see what else. And maybe just kind of dipping my toe into a little bit of plans for the Christmas holidays. I am still knee-deep in wanting to do everything fall, but boy, that Christmas stuff is really calling to me. So I am going to show a few things on that, and let's just go ahead and get started. Okay, so the first big finish I want to share is my one red thread, and this this particular stitch is called Ama Soie Cherie by Reflet de Soie. I did this on a 46 count vintage Tundra by Lakeside, and I used a Versoix 100/3 silks in the color 681, which I'm reading off my stitch card. These are cards that I've started doing for myself. I started this stitch on the 1st of January of this year, and I finished it on the 4th of October. So, and I've made notes on that, and then this will go in a booklet that I have for my stitch cards. And here we go. Here is my finish, and I could not be more pleased with this finish. It turned out better than I had hoped. But I'm going to be taking this out in the next week or so to go start looking for frames. A lot of my pieces I frame myself, but this one is a little bit special, so I'm probably going to have this one framed professionally. I just need to find the right frame, and this will be going in the French general bedroom. So I love it, love it, love it. I already picked out and started a new one red thread, and I'll share that with you in a little bit. But that's, oops, sorry, hair in the mouth. That is one of my big finishes. So very pleased with that. I'll just kind of do this with what I have stacked on here, so it'll be out of order. I have started a new one red thread, and I've made a card for that. And these are the Blackbird Design stockings, and there are 5 of them. I've made another card. These are located in the Home for the Holidays book, and I have already completed one and started on the other. Here's where I'm at on these. Again, I'm just doing the one red thread. I started these on the 5th of October, and this is how far I've got. So it's really amazing to me. And these, of course, are much smaller stitches than the one I just showed you. If I kind of go in the same cadence that I'm doing, I will finish this up just about at the end of the year, maybe a little bit before or a little bit after, but I'm hoping to complete these by the 31st of December, and I will be going and picking out a new one red thread. It might not be a red thread, although I'm really leaning towards that. I've been pulling out charts and looking at them, trying to decide which red thread I'm going to work on. I really haven't found the right one yet. And like I said, it may not be a red thread. I might do something that's in a dark green or maybe a black sampler. I'm not sure, but I really like this process. It worked very well for me so far this year. And it's a really nice morning ritual. I get up, I get my tea, I sit down, I do my one thread and put it away for the day. And it grows so quickly. So if you've got suggestions on what you think would be a great one red thread sampler, would you please, or stitch, it doesn't have to be a sampler. I'm really leaning towards a sampler, but go ahead and put it in the comments down below. I would be interested in learning more about other one red threads that are out there. I have a few in my stash. I don't mind if it's big. I really don't mind if it's small. I might end up doing several one red threads. I just haven't decided yet, so I would love some input on that. Oh, and I'm doing this on a, let's see, it's a 40 count Silvery Moon. Let me hold this back up here. It's a 40 count Silvery Moon by Zweigart. And I am doing it with a Victoria motto that I have. It's called Frost and Cedar. And it says on the tag that the DMC equivalent to this is 902. It's a very beautiful deep red. It has a subtle variegation. I don't think you can actually see it on the screen, but you can see it in person that there's just that slight variegation, and it's just beautiful. I do have an idea of how I want to finish these. And I'll share that when I get there. So I may change my mind in between now and then, but I love this. I love this stitch, and I'm happy that it just kind of fit into that time period that we had left for the rest of the year. Keeping this in my beautiful French General fabric bag that Michelle Farm Girl made for me. Well, she didn't make it specifically for me. She made them for everyone, and I think this was like the first or second retreat. No, it would have been the second retreat that we went to, and she gave one of those to everyone. And I love this bag. It's very cute. I may have to make a couple for myself. It's a pretty simple construction. This is what the inside looks like. Basically, you do it all in one long piece, turn it inside out, fold it, and then stitch down the side, and then put whatever kind of fastener she used. Just the little things, you just poke those in the fabric. Very handy. I love the envelope. It's a great size, and it does hold these stitches nicely. Okie dokie. So that was all about the one red thread. Let's put these over here. I've also still been stitching on Turkey Hollow Farm, and I'm hoping for a pre-Thanksgiving finish on this. I think I'm going to get there. It depends though, because I have another new start that has really grabbed my attention, and I'm not sure if it's going to take away from this one. But I have been stitching on this one. I've been doing fill-in, so I took it with me when I was traveling, which makes it a lot easier to fill in. The plane rides to Tucson and back from Phoenix aren't that long, so I really didn't get a whole lot of airplane stitching done, which I can usually get quite a bit done. But I did get, the one turkey didn't have his head, so he has his head back on, and I stitched the other turkey, and I did some house fill in, and I did a little bit on this border over here. It doesn't look like much of a change, but that's because when I went to go stitch on the border, I realized there was a mistake and I had to take it out and restitch it. But I'm doing this on 36 count Weeks Beige, which is one of my favorite colors, and I'm using the called for floss. I started this last Thanksgiving. And no, I'm sorry, that's not right. I started it the Thanksgiving before last. So yeah, I really want to get it done this Thanksgiving. And I love this stitch. I love Stacy Nash. And these are just beautiful. And I have it in my Grateful, Thankful, Blessed turkey bag. So got some work on that one. That was good. And then this last week was my birthday. And thank you everyone who sent me all of the birthday wishes. That was really awesome. My friend Linda, who is in my Stitchy group, my Tuesday Stitchy group, and we also do crafts at her house. Her Instagram handle is Quilts and Crosses. You should go take a look. But she finished her Real Comfort. She did attend the retreat where this was presented by Paulette, and she finished hers, and she brought, when we were at our quilt camp this last weekend, she brought the finished piece all framed in. Oh my gosh, it was so gorgeous. But she passed this on to me because she knew I really wanted to stitch it. And of course, it has been released recently, so everybody can pick this up. I had kitted it up. I think I talked about it last video. I had kitted it up, and it was going to be my my reward for finishing my granddaughter's costume for Halloween. And the costume took me longer than I anticipated. It always happens that way. I had a couple mishaps that I was able to recover from. I'll talk more about that. But I literally worked on that all the way up until I needed to get ready to leave to go to Tucson. And so I didn't get it started. So I started it actually on my birthday. And here is where I'm at. It was very hard to put down. I needed to catch up on my one red thread because I had gotten a little bit behind, and I'm still behind on my one hexagon star a day as well. I still need to catch up on that, but I did get this much in. I have made myself a card. I'm going to talk about the cards here in a little bit, but I've made myself a card, and I'm doing this on a 36 count Seraphim of Dusty Road. I had originally picked out, I think it was a vintage Tundra, and once I saw Linda's stitched and framed, actually it was really the framing that changed my mind. I realized that the Tundra would really be too much green, even though the called for linen is the, oh gosh, what is it? Let me look. It is 36 count Saltbush, which actually is kind of a dusty green, which is kind of why I went that direction. It really did look better on something that was more neutral. There's so much green in the house and surrounding areas that it wouldn't have had a balance. The green would have been on a balance, but this is a perfect neutral. I love how it's stitching up. I am just in love with this stitch already, and I think it's going to be hard to put down, but I have broken it up into 12 sections. So 40 by 40, I figured out would have it done by next October, which would be great. But depending on how this goes, I may get it done sooner because it's, like I said, it's really hard to put down. It'll probably be easier to put down once I really get into Christmas stitching, but right now I really, really love it. And I have it in this pretty project bag. Okay, let's see. What else do we want to talk about? I thought I would share a few things of plans. This is a plan still in the cross stitch realm because we're going to talk quilting too. A friend of mine loaned me her copy of the Birds of a Feather alphabet sampler. I have it in here so it doesn't get all icky. And I've pulled the threads for this. This is something I've wanted to stitch for a long time. I understand that Sherry, a Colorado cross stitcher, has obtained the rights to Birds of a Feather, and she is going to be releasing those. I don't know if this one's been released or not, but I'm really excited to stitch this one. I've wanted it for a long time. I think it's a great Halloween sampler, although I think I can leave this one up all year round as well. So that's going to be a Halloween start for that. I have also made a card for this one. And I wanted to talk a little bit about cards because I've gotten a lot of questions asking if I would be selling these. And I'll have to say again, I am not sure. So I make these very specific for me and kind of my processes. So for instance, the old cards, when I started out, I talked about these at the beginning of the year, and they really are working out well for me. And so I kind of wanted to do an update on where I'm at. So my original cards were very generic. And, you know, they have a place for the title, designer, fabric, floss, date you started, date you finished, date you FFO'd, and notes. And then on the back of them, I put a place to keep track of when I worked on them. So this is what I've discovered. What I've discovered is I really like having the picture on the card. So this is where things get tricky. So for myself, I can take a picture and I can put it on there. I'm not selling it. I don't own the rights to this image. But for myself, it's okay. These are very handy, but what I've realized for myself, now this may be different for other people, I really don't need to track when I worked on it. That really did not turn out to be as important to me as I thought it would be, except for when I'm working on my one red thread, which, did I already drop that? Hold please. Okay, so on my one red thread, that does make a difference. And this one is a fold over card versus just a single card like this one. This is just a front and back. I did this on purpose because I knew I was going to work on it at least for a year. And what I did is I put the beginning weekday, or the beginning date of that week for all 52 weeks. And I have like a Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, you know, all of that. And I use this and I do a check mark because I'm doing just one stitch a day. So that worked out very well. But for my general stitches, it doesn't really matter. What mattered more was having the picture. So that's what I'm doing. And then having a place to put notes. Now this one, again, like I said, I kind of customize these for the way I stitch. This one for real comfort because I'm going to break it up over 12 months. So I do have a place to put my start and my finish for my 12-month, my chunk, the chunk that I'm going to do before the end of the month, which I said is like 40 by 40 stitches. So I do have that, and I have a place for notes, but this is the card. So you can see my dilemma on whether that's something that I can produce and sell. What I can do is do a generic one for one red thread. I have done a couple for a few friends for 2025. Inside, they have just the date, so they can do their little check box, and it has a place for notes. And I can do a placeholder for a picture. So if you have, you know, you can copy from your pattern and you can put it on there. Or if you have one of those cute little instant camera printer things, you can probably print it out. I can make that a standard size so that those fit there. That's what I can do, that I know I can do. Or I can do a generic one like this as well. So just let me know if that's something that you're interested in. I kind of need to gauge the overall interest. So if you are interested in something like that, please drop me a comment down below so I can just get a sense of what you might be interested in, like the one red thread, or just a pack of general cards. Probably I would do like a dozen pack at a time. I do hand cut and print these separately myself, so they won't be a whole lot, but I really need to understand the interest before I go any further down that road. So please let me know what you think. Okay, that was a lot of talking for for those. In the last month, I did pick up a couple of frames. I generally do try to frame most of my things myself, but I ordered the frames, and then I will pin and or lace. I'm still not as good as that I'd like to be, but I thought I would show you the frames that I picked up. So here's a frame. I'm just going to try to hold this behind here. This is my finish that I finished last year at the holiday time. It is, oh golly, my mind just went blank. It's a Kathy Barrick slash, what's it called? I can't remember. Anyway, here's the stitch that's going to go in it. I finished it last Christmas, so I need to get busy. This is on my to-do list. Heaven and Nature Sing. Thank you. It finally came to mind. So I will get that done, and I think the frame is going to be beautiful, and I think that's going to look lovely. So that is a frame that came in for me for a finish of last year, and I want to get it on the wall for this season. And another one that I ordered that also came in, it was also a finish of last year. I think I finished it on Thanksgiving. I'm not sure. Excuse me, I just dropped it. Is Turkey Trot. This is a Not Forgotten Farm, and I stitched it, I think this is on a beige using the Call for Colors, and this is the frame that I picked out. I think that's going to look wonderful as well. I tried to get a frame that's at least wide enough that I can set it up if I want, or I can hang it on the wall. So I'm looking forward to getting this one. I have to do this one first. This is another to do. Get it done. I think it's going to look great. Okay, so I have one more finish. Oh, let's talk about the last finish I have. If you've been watching, you excuse me, you know that I'm gonna have to pause here. My throat just went dry. I'm back. We had coughing, sneezing, and the whole bit, but I've got some liquid, and since I opened the door, one of the kittens snuck in, so we might have a visitor as we're going through this. Where was I? I don't remember. Okay. Hi, kitten. Oh, now we have two. So I went, I know where I was at. If you've been watching me for the last, or at least the last video, I have been working on a dress for my granddaughter for her Halloween costume, but it's going to be used for other things. So as I mentioned, she does theater, she does Comic-Con, she does Renaissance fairs, that type of thing. So she'll be able to use it for more than one thing. I'm going to throw some pictures up here as I'm talking about it. So the dress is from a movie called The School of Good and Evil. It's kind of a teen movie that is on Netflix. I think it's still on if you're interested in watching it. The movie is full of some pretty fantastic looking dresses that any young teenage girl 13, 14 would fall in love with. So we kind of watched the movie, and she decided which one that she wanted me to make, and it was Sophie. She's one of the heroines of the movie. It's Sophie's dress. And so it's kind of a tattered looking skirt and a bodice, a corset bodice, and then like a little peasant blouse. So here's the pictures. And I'll also put a little video in of her kind of swirling around. So that dress took me longer than I anticipated. I had a couple of mishaps, but I thought the easiest part really was going to be the skirt. I knew it was going to take some time, but I was working on it and I had it almost complete, or at least I thought I did. And I had made it in 3 tiers and it wasn't looking right. The tiers looked too long. I went back and looked at the movie, figured out it was really supposed to be 4 tiers. So then I had to do a lot of adjusting and I had to add on another ruffle. Now, by the time I got down to the 3rd ruffle, that was about 22 yards of ruffle, and my ruffler on my machine stopped working. I have no idea why it's not working. It worked for the previous ruffle. I went to go do the next one. It stopped. So when I had to redo the ruffles, the last 3 ruffles, I had to do by hand, which of course took me a lot longer. And then the last ruffle, I was sewing late into the night. I was trying to get things done, so I'd have at least a day between where I was sewing on it and where I needed to pack and get the house ready for travel, for me to be gone, and the kittens ready. I did have someone come and stay with them. I got it all done. I was very pleased. I kind of shook out the ruffles, realized I had put it on upside down. I had put it on backwards. So all of the seams were facing out. It's like, 22 yards of ruffles. So I ended up taking it with me to my crafting day, which I had the crafting day and then I had the day before I left. And so while everybody else was learning punch needle, I was taking the little sections off and turning them around. And I did it again. I had to undo 4 sections. I turned them around and 2 of them I actually put back on backwards. So it was a mess. Anyway, I stayed up late, got it done. Had a whole day to get the house and the kittens and everything in order and pack and go. So I finished it. As I said, so I thought that was going to be the easy part and the bodice was going to be the hard part. The bodice went together like a dream, no problem whatsoever. It only took me about a day. The gold work on the fabric is a rose gold, and I couldn't find any rose gold D-ring, so I bought some D-rings and a pink indelible marker, and I made them rose gold. It turned out pretty cool, but she loved it. It fit her perfectly. I was really, really pleased, but I will say I'm probably not going to do something quite that involved next year. Famous last words. You know those granddaughters can wrap grandmas around their little fingers. So while I was there, since it was near my birthday, my girls gave me my birthday present. And this was framed and under glass, but I actually took it out of the frame to bring it home. And this is a numbered print by... what is her first name? Her last name is Wooster Scott. If you are familiar with her work, you will recognize this. And it's beautiful. I love it. And it came with, I had to cut this off the back. It's Jane Wooster Scott. I can't remember that. So I have the certificate of authenticity. And I will go ahead and have that reframed. The original frame it was in was double matted. And because this is, you'd see this in the 90s, I'm going to have it reframed closer to the picture and something a little bit more to match my decor. So I received that, hung out with my girls. We had a great time. We went to a harvest fair pumpkin patch amusement thing, sort of. I'll throw a few pictures up here. My girls went zip lining, and that was fun. I declined this time. It looked like a lot of fun, and things like that don't scare me, but the stopping at the very end, I thought, that one might be a little hard on the back, so I decided not to do that. But did that, and then they drove me halfway to Phoenix, and my friend Barb drove halfway, and they passed me off. And my friend Barb picked me up, and I spent about 4 days there, and we did the Valley Shop Hop, the Arizona Valley Shop Hop So that's like Mesa, Phoenix. She lives in Sun City, so it's all of that area right there. So I have lots of things to show you from there. It's mostly quilting, but hopefully, even if you're a cross stitcher, you might stay and get a little bit of inspiration. There's some really fun things here, and I'm going to pause real quick because I have some kittens getting into naughty things, and I'll be right back. Okay, I hope you are ready to look at an inordinate amount of haul. Actually, before I was handed off to my friend Barb to go to the chop up, I did visit one quilt store in Tucson, which is one of my favorite stores. It's called the Quilt Basket. Now, we have a Quilt Basket here in the Deschutes County area in Bend. This one is in Tucson, and I really love it. And I picked up some fabric that I know I wouldn't see everywhere. This is an actual Daiwabo fabric from Japan. And I got it, I think I'm going to be doing another Poppins bag. So this is a Japanese Daiwabo. It is just stunning. It's very, very pretty. And I picked up this fabric to do the contrast. Now, if you don't know what a Poppins bag is, I made one and showed it last fall. I'll show it to you here. This is a Poppins bag. And I do need, oops, I've got some string on there. I do need to find a third coordinating fabric, but this fabric is quite expensive, so I only got the smallest pieces needed to do the bag. So, I did pick that up, and I think it is simply stunning. It's kind of I'd call it like a heavyweight silk feel. The stripe on there really does look like a silk dupioni, but it's just gorgeous. So I did find that, and I also found, I had not seen this color before. They had this on a big reel. I bought 3 yards. I probably should have bought more because it's the perfect color of pumpkin. And they also sell wool in that shop. And I picked up this beautiful piece of wool for finishing and or applique. And then they had this great quilt. If I have it in my picture reel, I will put a picture of it up here, but I just got the little charm pack. I think I'm going to do a project bag with it. But the quilt that this fabric was used for, here I'll kind of do a little flip through, was very, very stunning. It was stunning in its simplicity. And this one is called On Dasher, and it's by Sweetwater. So I picked up those, and let's see. So that was from, I'm going to set this over here. That was from Tucson. I'm not going to remember which shops I bought what, but I'm going to share a lot of the fabric that I got. Mostly it was to do project bags or knitting bags, and I know I still owe you a tutorial for the knitting bag. And I also bought more fabric to do another Poppins bag. So this fabric, so I now have fabric for 3 Poppins bags. This fabric, in contrast, is for another Poppins bag. There's nothing like going shopping, well, doing a shop hop, and we visited 9 shops, and so you get a big selection, and some of them had contemporary fabric, some of them had like the Joe Morton, that type of fabric, and then everything in between. So it was great to see a bunch. So this was for another Poppins bag. And let's see, where am I at? You're going to hear a lot of crinkling, and I apologize, but it's still kind of wrapped up. I haven't put anything away yet. These are also going to be for bags, and they were on the clearance at one of the shops. This one, I took the rest of the bulk because I know I'm going to be able to use it for a lot of things. But look at that. They had it in black too. And if it hadn't been the end of the shop pop and my wallet hadn't been nearly empty, I would have probably got all of the black as well. But the cute little pumpkin. This is, I know, here's the name. This is a Moda, and it is called Garden by Sweetfire Road. So I got that, and then these are coordinating fabrics. This will mostly end up in probably knitting bags and maybe some of the little open up gadget bags. These. I like to coordinate my little Notion bags, so I'll probably make a few of those too. But those will go into some bags. And let's see, what do we got here? These are also some coordinating fabrics that I picked up. This one, I'm going to take them out of, if I can, take them out of their roll. This one's definitely also going to be a knitting bag. It was just really cute. And I got a celestial color. I'm not sure if this is the same line. I think they're both Modas though. But I got that to go with it. Isn't that cute? So those will go together in some sort of bag. This one is also a beautiful, I just love this. So these are not like what I decorate my house with, but they're fun, they're pretty, and I love being able to make bags for all my projects and kind of, you know, stepping out of what I normally would use for my home and making bags with them. And that's a coordinating fabric I got for that. And I just got this because it's a lovely orange and black and I can use it for finishing. So I picked those up at one of the shops. I did really good at the shop. So I don't think I spent more. I spent like between $35 and $40 at any given shop. There were a couple of shops that I didn't spend any money at. And then the next to the last shop, I kind of went a little crazy. Okay, let's see. What else did I find? Oh, this one. Again, probably for a bag of some sort. And I'm not a blue person. And they had this also in a kind of a pink, this pink and peachy colorway too. But this was so pretty. This is the coordinating fabrics that I got to go with it. And, oops, let me turn that upside down. So it had cute little toadstools. So I think that's going to be just adorable. This is called Woodland and Wildflowers, and this one's called Quaint Cottage. That's the line. And this one is called also Woodland and Wildflowers. So I got these three. Again, bags, knit bags, cross stitch bags, project bags, whatever we're going to do. Okay. Oh, this one, this was another cute little one that I got to go with the kitties. In fact, you know what? I think what I did, let me pull that back out. I think these three go together. So the dark blue, that, and then these boo kitties. Aren't those adorable? Again, 9 shops, lots of shopping. Here's another set of 3, and that's what I generally do if I'm buying for a bag. I will buy a set of 3, generally fat quarters. I can make almost any project out of a fat quarter except for like a Poppins bag. Those I need at least 1/2 yards and 3/4 yards. But if I'm going to do a knitting bag or a project bag or whatever, fat quarters are great. And I try to get it in 3s. And so like if I was making a cross stitch project bag, I would get 2 bags, at least 2 out of this, or at least 2 out of 3 fat quarters. So there's that. Look at these owls. And then this is the coordinating fabric. So I have a lot of fun putting those together. Sometimes they're all from the same line, sometimes they're not. They're generally all from the same manufacturer. I'm sorry, but kitties are getting naughty in here. I'm going to pause real quick. Some ornery kittens going on here. Okay, so let's see, where was it? Oh yeah, I picked these up. Oops, let me turn that. There we go. That is so sweet. I'm pretty sure that's going to be a knitting bag as well. So those are, I think, the fat quarters and half yards, things like that I picked up. I also, there was a cute little wall hanging. I'm going to put a picture up here. I believe it's a Kathy Schmitz. I could be wrong. Oh no, I'm sorry. I am totally wrong. It's a Kansas Trebles pattern. And I picked up the little charm packs. It calls for 3. And it's kind of it's a black and tan. Has a little birdie. So I picked up the charm packs necessary to create that. It was hanging on the wall. And then that second to the last shop where I got myself in trouble, they had this beautiful quilt on the wall. And both Barb and I were looking at it. And I think she's going to get it. She's going to do it in colors a little bit different than mine, but they're also Moda. But what caught my eye was this fabric. I don't recall. I'll have to look and see what the line is. I don't recall. I can tell you what the line is right now if I can find it on the selvage. But I don't know if it came out this year or last year. So this is called A Christmas Carol by 3 Sisters. And I started out looking online to see if I could find it, even while I was right in the shop, to see if I could find big bundles of fabric, because they had only a little bit of it in the shop and they didn't. So while I was there, I picked up enough fabric. I'll either use this for backing for one quilt, or what I'll do, I have only 3 yards. I will cut a yard a piece and I will face the so it'll be like a panel, even though it's just this, also for backing. But I bought 3 yards of this. And these are 2 of the coordinating fabrics. And I'm going to put a picture up here. It's a pattern. What's it called? Is it called the pattern basket too? Let me see. I don't have it in front of me. I'm going to put a picture up here of the quilt. It's a very simple quilt, but it's really pretty. And the picture just doesn't do it justice. So that's what this particular quilt fabric is intended for. So I got 2 reds and I got the green. That's what I intend to use it for at this time. I may change my mind because I also have a couple of other patterns that the same yardage and the fabric would really work for. So I have to do some thinking. And the reason I need to do some thinking is because while I was at Barb's house, she pulled out a panel that she had bought because we were matching the panel while we were shopping, and she had 2 of them. So she was originally going to make both of them up and put them on 2 twin beds that she has in her guest room. But I talked her into letting me quilt one for her handing off the other panel to me. So she agreed. I didn't pressure her. I just kind of threw it out there and she agreed. So, because it's really hard to find this panel now. It came out a couple of seasons ago. It's by Layla Boutique. Maybe it was last season. And you might recognize it. I think that kittens are still in here. Sorry about that. Katie of So Tattered has already done this. My friend Barb is not going to do the chenille on here. She just put a border up here and a border down here. I'm not quite sure if that's exactly what I'm going to do, but I want to make it a little bit longer to fit on a twin bed. It's wide enough for a twin bed. It's just not quite long enough to cover the edge. But she gave me the panel, and she gave me, this is the fabric that she had bought. These are the same dots and the same color that's in the leaves. And this is the fabric that she had purchased to do like a top bar and a bottom bar. And so I'm going to incorporate those. So because I now have that, these also still match wonderfully. So that may change the pattern that I use that for. And of course I need 3. So this will be one, this will be one, and then I'll do another one. There's another contender. Sorry, I'm reaching over here. There's another contender for that fabric. Yes, it is a pattern basket. And I may use it for peppermint twist of the pattern basket. I think that will go together very easily. And then a couple others that I had planned on putting in that bedroom are cardinals and Christmas wishes. And then a couple of other of Layla Boutique, which is the designer from there. This is a full-size quilt, and this is a wall hanging. So I may still do the wall hanging. I may do the full-size quilt for something else, but I have an abundance of different options to put in that bedroom, and I may eventually make them all and then have the opportunity to switch out and put out whatever I want. But my girls and my son are coming for Christmas this year. They're actually not coming till the day after Christmas because of timing, which is going to be fine because this will be the first time I've had both my kids together at Christmas since 2018, and I am so excited. So I need to get some things done for the retreat rooms because, you know, I want to decorate them up for my kids and for me. So I'm really, really looking forward to that. I have been working on quilts. I'm going to switch gears, even though it's going to still be quilt related. I have been working on quilts. I went to the quilt camp, as I mentioned. Whoops, almost dropped my water. And I'm on the second quilt for the Halloween for the cottage bedroom. So these, all that I've been showing you are for the cottage bedroom. This is one, it's a basic spool quilt. I re-engineered it using electric quilt so that it will fit on the bed and it will match the other 2 beds. This is the second of 3. And I'm almost done with my blocks. I got about half of them done when I was at my quilt camp for 2 days. We stitched for 2 days. So these are all done in fig tree, different lines of fig tree. And I have the borders, and I have fabric for the borders. I'm probably going to do just a basic heavy duty muslin on the back just to save some money. When you're doing a lot of quilts like that, it can get very expensive and nobody's looking at the back. I may change my mind. I mean, I love having a beautiful back on things, but I need to cut some corners somewhere. So I've been working on that. I'm going to finish up at least the blocks for that and maybe work on it through, you know, the end of the month. So not very long. And then I'm going to totally switch gears and start working on the quilts for the cottage room for Christmas. Oh, so at the quilt camp, they usually have, they do drawings and stuff like that. And I won one of the drawings. And I won this fabric, which was very fortuitous because I can't find my little things right now, but this will match the black and tan little tiny quilt that I showed earlier, and I can use this for the back of it. So that was very lucky. Also in the quilt camp, they have a free table. And oh my gosh, so I love quilts by Lori Smith. If you've never seen a Lori Smith quilt, here you go. There's a Lori Smith quilt. Her work is phenomenal. I probably have 5 or 6 of her patterns. This is one that I've always loved, but I never bought because I just wasn't sure that I wanted to get that involved with a quilt like that. This quilt finishes at 59.5 by 59.5, so it's only 60 inches. It's not a bed size. It looks like it could be, but it's not. But what someone had done is they had packaged this up along with the work they had already done on the quilt. And I saw that on the free table and snagged it immediately. It's not done, but it's about halfway done. And oh my gosh, look at this. Is that not gorgeous? The same person also put out some bits and pieces, you know, like fat quarter sizes and little pieces that I can tell also went into this quilt. So I grabbed those as well. And I'm going to pick up wherever that lovely stitcher that already worked on it left off. And I'm going to finish this quilt. And I'm just totally thrilled. So stoked to have found that. And it's just wonderful, you know. If you're not going to finish something, pass it on, and somebody is going to be very excited, like I was very excited to pick it up and finish it. So I think where I'm at on this, let me look at it again. It's out to this far. So have this and this and this to do. So pick that up, and then there was one more thing that I picked up off of the free table that I was super excited about, and it's a panel, and then I also have the backing fabric to go with it. And this is the panel. I think this is a Susan Wingett. I could be wrong. Let me look. Yep, it's a Susan Wingett. So I think this came out last year, a couple of seasons ago. I'm not sure. It's quite a large panel. I'll throw some blocks around the outside, and then here's the backing fabric. Very pretty, and it will be great to hang on a door or throw on a bed. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it, but again, thank you to whoever the very kind quilter was that left that on the free table. Super excited to get that. Okay, just a few more things. I know I've already had an enormous amount of haul, but this was other haul that came in the last month, and I thought I would share those with you. I have a couple of punch needle that I got in the mail, Happy Mail. These are from So Cherished. So you can kind of see there's some to-dos on here. There's some planning. This one is Garden Gals November, also by So Cherished. When you order these from So Cherished, they do come with the background fabric, that you punch. It already has them pre-drawn, so that's great. I'm also a huge fan of Timeless Traditions, and that is Norma Wally. And I picked up a couple patterns. This one is Field of Flowers. It's just so stunning. And Woodland Tree Skirt. I've wanted this one for a long time. It's been around a while, but I just love it. I also picked up another bag pattern to try. This one has a metal frame in it, and you just kind of open it up and close it. It doesn't have a zipper, and I'm going to try this one out. So a tube frame pouch. I'm going to see how that works. And then this is one that I picked up when we did the trip to Pioneer Quilts after the Pinwis retreat at Acorns and Threads. Several of us picked up this Primitive Gatherings wool applique. I do believe I'm going to start cutting out this for, I don't know if I'll get it finished this year, but I just love it. It's a good size. Let's see. It finishes 18.5 by 28. And I have a lot of wool scraps, but I did pick up, this is not wool. It is flannel. It is actually kind of hard to find wool pieces that big. I know places like the Woolen Needle, you know, that we visit in Iowa. I know that they have them, but they didn't have them at Pioneer Quilts. They were all just like a couple inches too short. I could order something online, but this is a really good economical way to still do wool. I mean, I have the wool pieces to do all the small, but go ahead and then doing it on a flannel. And it's a beautiful flannel. It's going to read like wool when I work on it. So, okay. Let's see. I think that was a lot. I think that's everything. The only thing I have left to do is announce the winner for the giveaway last time, which was the, I don't have it in front of me. It was a chart of a finish that I did last time. It was the pumpkins, Pumpkin Hollow. It was Pumpkin Hollow. So I'm going to put that name up here. And if you will, please contact me at texstylust@gmail.com, which will be in the description below. Then I will get that mailed out to you. So I hope that you're all doing well. My heartfelt thoughts go out to all of the people who are working through the damages from the last 2 hurricanes. Please know that you're all in our thoughts. I hope to see you a little bit sooner. I know my videos have been averaging about 1 a month. That's because I had so many things to do, but with the delivery of my granddaughter's dress, I don't currently have any big items on my plate to get done, and I plan on doing just a lot of stitching and a lot of quilting and maybe some embroidery and some punch needle. And as you can see, I have some things on my to-do list. I have some things I need to get in the frames. I still have a lot of smalls. You know, I have a stack like this of things that need to be finished from previous years. We'll see what I can get done with those. And I look forward to seeing everyone really soon. Bye-bye for now.